Hi, this is Matt once again with the Matt's in the video, and this is a paid request for Kevin. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. For those interested in requesting any type of videos, PayPal is usually the best way to do it. I do have my CashApp as well as other stuff. Links are down below in the info box. I'll get to as soon as I can. It could be a movie review, re-review, topic reaction, commentary, video game playthrough, or topic like this, which is cool. Feel free. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Hope you enjoy. So Kevin wanted my take on which do I like more. Home Alone, Home Alone 2. Makes sense. Christmas season. 2 Christmas movies here. I like both movies. I do. But kind of a weird thing where for me the answer is easy. I liked Home Alone 1 a lot more. Home Alone 2 I don't mind, but Home Alone 1 I could rewatch a lot more. I think because I saw Home Alone 1 first, when I saw the sequel, while I liked seeing the characters again, I liked seeing Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern, Macaulay Culkin, John Hurt, all the people. Even back then I could realize this is very similar to the first. Very similar. And getting a big taste of deja vu. To the point that I think the director, Chris Columbus, has even said, we didn't know what to do. We just did a remake, a rehash of the first film. Which is what it is. And because of that, for me, Home Alone 1 wins because, at the very least, that was the first one I saw, and the originality, the creativity, it felt more fresh. So when you get to the sequel and it's pretty much doing the same damn thing and being the same movie, while I do like the film, it did feel like reheated leftovers. And that hurts it for me. It does. Because if I compared it to, it's like, yeah, that was done, but I liked it better in the first one. And to go through the list, it'll take a bit, so bear with me. I had to think about it for a bit. Is there anything I like that they did in the sequel more than what they did in the first film? Because if I go through it, one thing that popped in my head, and I want to mention it first because I'll forget it. I love Tim Curry in Home Alone 2. That's one thing I'll put it above the first one. Tim Curry and the scene when... And no, Kevin McAllister is not the one who requested this. Just another guy named Kevin. When he's showing the old movie and the people are being tricked by the voice of the old movie, the gangster film. The way it played out in Home Alone 2 I thought was funnier because of Tim Curry and his reaction, how sincere it is. And the way the guy's saying these names and they mention a name of someone and they turn, they look at the guy's name tag. No, it's not me, no. I thought that worked a lot funnier. I thought those, even Rob Schneider was fine in that. But yeah, Tim Curry was especially hilarious, and the thing with the first one, when it did that, I knew there was something that always bothered me for the longest time. I could not put I couldn't put into context, where he's got the pizza delivery guy and he's doing the filthy animal, the whole videotape to scare him. I realized what it was. Well, it was a couple things. How did Kevin call the pizza guy for pizza? Did you remember in Home Alone 1 the phone lines are down? That's why the family can't call Kevin and just say, hey, we're here. We're sorry. Stay tuned. We'll get there. But it seems like the phone lines are working because he called the pizza delivery place. So how did he call the pizza delivery place to deliver the pizza if the phones aren't supposed to be working? And if the phones are working, why isn't the family still trying to call him? Unless I missed something. And actually, someone did request not too long ago to re-review Home Alone 1 and 2. So maybe when I re-review them, maybe I'll notice something I didn't get. But as of right now, I'm like, how the hell did he call for the pizza? I don't know. If anyone has an answer, it's like, well, the phone lines are down. Well, then how did he call the pizza? Well, the phone lines aren't down. Well, if they're fixed up, why didn't, they keep calling Kevin? Trying to call him. But if I start from the beginning, I thought that the way again, they're so much similar. The family's all in chaos. They're getting ready for Christmas. They're going to another place, Paris or Florida. Kevin is kind of outside of the group. But it makes less sense the second time because he's already been through this the first time, so he should have learned a thing or two to love his family more, care about his family more, because he wished for them to disappear and now they're back. So you think it feels like he didn't learn his lesson from the first movie, which makes him a teeny bit more irritating on that front, if that makes sense. While in the first one, he's younger and he hasn't had a lesson to learn yet. The second one, he's older, so he should know better. But he doesn't, because they're doing the same movie. Then as time goes on, the way the fight with Buzz happens, I thought it made it a little bit more understandable why the family, they weren't sure what happened. They just saw that Kevin pushed Buzz and it spilled everything. So some of them might not have seen what happened. They couldn't verify what Buzz did or didn't do. I mean, Buzz was being a prick, but he just said, oh, we ate it. We ate the pizza. And then pretends to puke it up. But in the second film, he's literally messing with the kid trying to sing, putting lights under his ears, like clearly doing something that everybody can see. And so Kevin's like, stop it, and then everybody falls. And it makes a hell lot less sense that they just blame it all on Kevin, nothing on Buzz. Like, they clearly see what happened. And the whole audience sees what happens. And the whole audience is laughing. But yet they're not going to stick up for their son and let Buzz get away with it. That made less sense. And that made it a bit more like, what? You really are shitty parents. You sure you like Home Alone 2? I do like Home Alone 2. It's just, I don't think it's nearly as good as the first one. So I do think that the insane incident makes a bit more sense in the first one. How they lose power and the clocks. Okay, in the first one it's a storm. That happens. Hell, that's happened here. A storm, the power goes off for a second, the clocks are messed up. In the second one, John Hurt just unplugs one power plug, but everybody's clocks are fucked up when he just pulled one power plug. Why is everybody's clocks fucked up because of that? Like in all the other rooms. And then the first one, I thought, while it's still bad parenting, with all the chaos and all the kerfluffle, in a way, it kind of, in its movie world, made more sense as why they forgot Kevin. Because they're in such a rush, they're going down there, and they're in such a rush, blah, blah, blah. Here, they're going through the airport, and Kevin, a guy has the same clothes as his dad, the same coat, the same color scheme on the coat, at the same time, in the same airport, at the same moment. And it's not, I mean, it's like, really? He has the same, it's like, okay, you're really reaching to try to get him separated from the family. And And I don't care what airport it is, they're not letting a little kid on a fucking plane without making it damn stippy that you got a plane ticket for it. It's like, sorry, we don't take our time, or sorry, shit happens, or hey, everybody come over here, just blah, blah, blah. Now, it's cool to see the New York sights, bit of an expansive scope, but if I have a preference, I do prefer the first one location where everybody has that idea of what would happen if you're a kid and you're home alone. What would you do if you're home alone and nobody was around? You'd eat whatever you want, you party, you watch whatever you want. So in a way, like little kids could watch it as almost like a fantasy fulfillment, in a way. I don't know if many kids really have a fantasy fulfillment of being alone in a city, where it's like, where am I going to sleep? But when you're in your home and you got your comfy bed, a little bit of that fantasy fulfillment that kids live vicariously through Kevin McAllister. You have the weird outsiders that are actually good people. You have the old man. I kind of like that a bit more, where there's this fable how he killed the bodies and he's salting it and why he's put it there. While the other one is this weird bird lady who has pigeons and bird shit over her. And I think the actress does a good job. But it still seems like very weird that for anybody to just have a bunch of birds shitting on themselves and they don't do anything about it. It still comes out as a bit weirder than the old guy who's just, minding his own business. One thing that bothered me about the second one is, okay, the first one, the mom goes to search for Kevin. I think it would have been better in the second one if that was the dad's job to go search for Kevin. But no, they let the mom, she does the same thing. Only in the first one, at least he had John Candy. At least he had a role for John Candy. Here, you don't really get that, sadly. You get Tim Curry. In the scene I mentioned, I do think this scene was done better in Home Alone 2. But again, I like Home Alone 2 because it was nice to see the actors again. I love Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci. I think they worked very well. They worked well in both movies as the Wet Bandits or the Sticky Bandits, however they want to call themselves. They have such wonderful chemistry with each other. Yes, I know it's silly with all the traps. They would clearly get killed. People have done edits Home Alone R-rated on YouTube. But I enjoyed the same way I enjoyed Three Stooges. Or we don't hate the Three Stooges now because it's not on... Or Jim Carrey movies like Ace Ventura. Does that mean we hate Ace Ventura Pet Detective? Does that mean we hate Dumb and Dumber? Does that mean we hate Three Stooges? Like, come on now. That just also means they hate Ernest movies and all sorts of stuff. I thought this was slapstick done fairly well. Especially because of the performers involved. And again, I think also with the traps, I like both films, and I like both films the way they do with traps. It's hard for me to pick. I'd probably say I still enjoy the first one more for the traps because of that idea of defending your home. So all these traps are within his home, and that's kind of a thing we all can relate to. Like, we want to defend our home. While here, it's this random building that he's able to use with some good stunt work and some funny pratfalls, don't get me wrong. And for a good cause, to save this store and the money so these kids would get something for Christmas. But that primal idea of defending your home, I thought, worked a bit better for me on a story level in the first one. and how it's a much smaller contained area, and just how he's able to burn the hand and burn the head, and and while the second one does have bigger dabs, the first one I thought was funnier. Just felt more painful in the first movie. I don't know why. Just the stuff in the felt more painful that made it funnier. I always remember Daniel Stern stepping over with the ornaments, and there's that one light bulb he steps on, and he's like, ah! Just the way how just that one explodes. It just, oh, you just picture how much it hurts, and his scream, ah! Or the nail go into it, ah! I mean, granted, they do the flame gag on Joe Pesci on both of them. But I like the way he did it more in the first one, where he's got to dive himself into the snow, and then you see like the detail. Oof, oof, oof. You see just how much the burn is in the detail. And just the way it was contained, I thought it went maybe a little bit better pace compared with the first. I mean, compared with the second. But yeah, and again, it doesn't help that when you watch the second film, you're just constantly reminded of the first one. So it's hard for it to stand on its own 2 feet. It's very hard to do that. From how it starts, when everyone's busy, to, like I said, an inciting incident, the people are pissed off at Kevin, to, once again, the mom goes, Kevin! To the person who you thought was a weird, crazy person actually helps out, defeating the two bad guys and saving the kid's life. Or a family member yelling at Kevin and him going, and running away, whether it be Buzz, what'd you do to my room? Or the dad, you spent this much money on room service? That, at least the first film, I could view it as its own entity, and the second film is just almost like a parasite of the first film. It just, like I said, the second film, I think the charm of the cast, especially Macaulay Culkin and Joe Pesci, Danny Stern, they helped that film a lot. And being, you had decent time. But man, just how unoriginal it is. Just, I think affects it very much compared with the first one. And again, even when I compare it, I like this kind of smaller venue because it feels more intimate in a way. It feels more intimate with the holiday season and home for the holidays feel. And I mean, you just say there never needed to be a sequel to Home Alone, and now there's what? 6 of them? There's 3 with the one kid. I forgot Scarlett Johansson was in it. There's the 4th one and the 5th one, and I know I've seen them. I forgot what the hell they were. Then there was that Home Sweet Home Alone, which was like the worst one. So it was what, number 6? Jesus. Again, you just say there never needed to be a franchise. It never did. But it showed how, I mean, the sequel made a ton of money too. I mean, a ton of money. I mean, the first one did, but the second one made a lot of money too. So people were still hungry for more. But yeah, sorry I'm pausing. I'm trying to think of, like, of other stuff that Home Alone 2 I thought did better than the first. Other than that bit with Tim Curry and the gangster bit, I can't really think of any. I'm not saying there's no good scenes. There are. It's just I can't think of any that I thought was better than in the first one. Like I said, I don't mind the pigeon lady, the actress playing her. But I would say I like the old guy in the first one more. Joe Pesci, Danny Stern are hilarious in both films. Yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, I would still go with the first movie. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye bye for now.